Debt can help you reach financial freedom. The right debt will really help you reach your financial goals. But the wrong debt can take you down, can really destroy your life. So before we talk about debt and what type of debt is good for you or what type is not good, understand debt can be a great tool. But if you don't know how to use that tool, you could bring yourself to destruction. Many people today talk about debt. Is debt good, debt bad, what's good debt, what's bad debt. So we're going to talk about that more over here, about what type of debt is good for you, what type of debt is not good for you. But you need to understand, in addition to the numbers of debt, how much you pay for it, how much you're taking. So there's also something that it has to do nothing with the money. It's how you feel when you carry debt. So if you carry debt and you can't sleep from it at night, even if it creates that financial freedom, it's not worth it. We're going to talk a little bit more about, so let's try to understand a little bit more what is debt, what debt is good, what debt is not. We'll give some more tools later on to see which debt is good for you and which is not. But I want to take you back a few years now. I was in huge debt. I was in really huge debt, and I came from a place that I told myself, I'll never take any debt, I'll never take any loans. And I was like that for a lot of years. I had no loans, I paid everything on time. For me, I was from the category that, debt is the evil. Like, I want nothing to do with debt. And that was for many years, okay? I didn't come close to debt. I heard so many stories of people that got into debt and got into trouble. And yeah, I also heard the good stories that people got some debt and they built with it financial freedom. In my case, it started like that. I got into debt in order to invest in real estate. So basically, I found properties. What I did is I found properties and I bought my money in, investors' money in, and also debt from the bank. So of course, at the beginning, it went well. And I was like, wow, cool. I had a property that was worth, I don't know, $400,000, $300,000. And I hardly had to put any money down. Like, some for me, some from the investors, and most of it was from the bank or hard money lenders. And I was like, wow, that's amazing. Something that is worth $300,000, I need to bring only 60 or a little bit more because there's also carrying costs. So I was like, wow, so maybe I could buy a lot more. So like I said, the first deal went well, it was nice. Second was fine, some trouble over there. And I started basically increasing my debt. Now that wasn't debt for a new car. This is the debt that everyone say you should take. And it's fine. Again, I'm all in for investing. I work now with investors all day, all night. But what happened was that I was so excited from my opportunity to get something for less than its cost, because again, it's $300,000 and I'm paying around 60, 70 because the rest of the debt is paid. And then I came to a phase that I had no clue how I'm going to end the month. I was in huge debt and was waiting for one project to finish to bring that money to the different project. And when that finished, I continued with the second project. And then something happens with the rehab, and so many things come up, and that's business. Don't think that if it would come up, if challenges would come up in business. Challenges come up in business. Your job is to find the right solution. Doesn't matter what business, okay? All businesses. So what basically happened that I created for myself, my fault, I created a huge bubble of debt. Why am I saying a bubble? Because when you have a lot of debt and you can't pay it back, eventually the bank will take it back. So what happened in my case, I was in a place that I really didn't know how I'm going to pay the debt at the end of the month. And somehow, we got one deal done, we sold it, moved to the next. And I remember, the stress that having to finish every month with no clue how I'm going to pay that debt. I'll say that it wasn't enjoyable. It was a great teacher. I learned from it a lot. But I told myself, wait, if people say debt is so good and can help me create financial freedom, why am I feeling this? I'm supposed to feel, good. I'm moving forward. And what I realized that I didn't take those small steps in the debt field, in the debt game. Again, debt, there's good debt and there's bad debt. Now let's divide that into two. When you get into debt and you get into debt for vacation, or you get into debt for buying a new car or a new house you can't afford, that's bad debt. Why? Because you're right now paying high interest, usually, for something that you don't really need now, okay? It won't help you. Again, when you buy something, it doesn't matter what type of thing, again, whether it's a car, a house, really expensive clothes, new watch, whatever it is, that decreases in its value, that's bad debt. And there's no reason for you to get it when you don't have the money. Now again, if you have a lot of money, you want to get those things, enjoy. I personally don't really connect to them, but if you do, amazing. That's totally your thing. But whenever you get whatever it is that you get and it decreases in value, that's a liability, okay? When you get into debt and you buy something that increases in value, can increase in value, that's an asset. An asset that, preferably the beginning, you want an asset that will bring for you cash flow if you're at the beginning of the game. Maybe also later on, but if you have no money, you want something that will bring in money. Maybe one asset that produces cash flow and another asset that can produce a greater value with time. But you don't want to finish every month with no clue from where you're going to pay the bills. And when you get into debt that basically creates for you more and more liabilities and you don't have money to pay, eventually it won't be yours. Not that only those things won't be yours, the bank or whoever it is will also take more of your things, okay? So think for yourself right now that you're the bank and you're right now lending money to someone else to buy his new car, new watch, new whatever, and he doesn't have the money and he pays interest on his rate. So that's amazing. Basically that person, that human being is investing in you because he's buying something and he's paying you, basically paying you interest on the money. Even more, if you're a credit card company, when you get into debt and you pay credit card debt, the interest rate is so high. That's like the first thing you should, if you have any credit card debt, that's the first thing you should make sure that you close it, that you don't have anymore, because the interest you pay over there is so high. Think as an investor, if you could make such a high interest on your money, amazing. So you're funding the credit card companies. You're giving them your money for no reason. So what you need to understand is pretty simple. If you're buying whatever asset it is, whatever thing it is that is going to decrease in value, you're creating a liability. So that, let's put aside, we don't want. Again, if you get to a phase in the future or when you get there, you have a lot of money, you want to buy it, enjoy, do whatever you want. Don't forget also to give some to other people that need the money, some charity. But that's number one. Number two is basically getting into debt that can help you create that financial freedom. Getting into debt that would help you, will help your family, will help your surroundings. That's amazing. That we do when we buy debt that basically creates more income, number one, or we buy an asset that later on the value will be much greater. I want to make one point clear. Before we talk about what you need to know if to get into that good debt or not, you need to understand, if you're from the people that debt is not for you, it's fine. Again, I met with, I think, hundreds, maybe even close to 1,000 investors that I spoke with, okay? Now, most of them, 99%, 98%, could take debt and they'll be fine. But there's that 1% that, they won't sleep at night with having debt, even if it's good debt. Don't invest, or invest in something really, really, really solid, okay? You have to take that in consideration. It's not worth it not to sleep at night, even if you get a good return. Remember, what's the reason you're investing your money? What's the reason you're creating all these assets? Because you want to create a better life. And if you're in huge stress because you're investing, it's not worth it. So you could work on yourself and understand, okay, if you want to, you might be fine and just you don't want to invest. But if you do want to invest, you could work on yourself, understand how to reduce those stresses and how to find the right investments that have a reduced in risk. And if you don't want to, fine, all good. Just be playing with your money and understand how it works. Let's go back to what are the tools you need to know, what are the tools you need to use when you come to create, or when you come to basically purchase an asset and create debt. So number one is you want that your investment, your asset, my belief is, okay, as a rule of thumb, if you're taking out some type of loan, will create at least twice more than what you're paying for the debt. What does that mean? You want to get into an investment that the interest you pay on your money is, let's say, 4%, and you make at least twice more. So you get at least 8%. Okay, so that's number one. Now, number two is that you want to be in a place that also, if now you have no income for 3 months, that debt that you have won't take you down. Because if you're living paycheck to paycheck, and now for a month or two you don't have money that comes in from that investment, because things happen, you know, welcome to life, welcome to business, and now you didn't get any cash flow from that investment or from a different investment you have, and those 2 months with no cash flow will basically bring you to a place that you can't pay your debt, you're in big trouble. So number one, like I said, you want to make twice more. If you pay 4% interest, you want to earn at least 8. Number two is that you want to have that margin that you have, you know, those 2-3 months that also, if you don't have income coming in, you could still pay your debt. Now, number three, make sure when you go into that investment, if it's not a cash flow investment, that cash flow helps you pay the debt. First, you want it to be a good investment that you, I believe, make even more than much more than 2 times than whatever you pay. But again, make sure that you have a place that covers that debt. Otherwise, the debt won't be a tool that would create for you financial freedom. It would be a tool for destruction. In general, in investing, before you look at the investments and try to understand which one is good for you, which one is not, before everything, first understand what's the reason you're investing, okay? After you know what's the reason you're investing, now, okay, let's start looking what type of investment is good for me according to the reason I'm investing, because that could change the type of my investment. We'll talk more about that in a different video. But as of for right now, I want you to go and look at all of your debt that you have in life. If you have debt, so look at the credit card debt, at the debt that is not for assets that increase in value, and look if you could reduce it. Okay, could you reduce that debt? Maybe not in one shot, but every month a little bit. And if right now you could only reduce it a tiny bit, so try to negotiate that rate that you have with the bank or with the lender. Instead of paying 4%, 10%, 9%, try to reduce it percent or two, even half, whatever it is good. And your good debt, make sure that if you could take that good debt and cover with it part of the bad debt, that's fine. But maybe you could also increase it, again, only if you're getting good returns and you could pay back that monthly payment in a comfortable way. Now, if you have no debt at all and you do want to get into the game, so again, understand why you're investing, then choose that investment, and then make sure it's the right one for you, and that investment will be for you a tool to create financial freedom. I hope you enjoyed the video and got some tools to overcome your challenges and light your path. If you haven't yet, please smash that thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. And don't forget, the most amazing things in life are the ones you take for granted.